Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back for another video. In today's video, we will be talking about what I think is one of the biggest mistakes that almost every single TFT player makes, all the way up even to master. And this is one of the biggest things that gates like master players from promoting. And one of the biggest things that if you know how to take advantage of, if you're in low UO, you'll just have a huge advantage on the rest of the lobby. And that is actually knowing how to level, when to play aggressive, when to not play aggressive in the early game, and how to not ruin your mid game by playing silly on stage 2. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, here we are on the first slide, and this first slide is just going to be a lot of baseline information on how to level and pre-level. Before we get into that, I do just need to address a few things. I will be generalizing in this video a lot, as I do in a lot of my guides, because I'm trying to explain it in a very simple way to understand. There is some nuance here to some of the stuff I'll be talking about, but overall I'm generalizing a little bit, and there are some small nuances. Just that's why it's a guide, guys. And the other thing I want to talk about, because I know I'll get comments about it, and this is the only reason why I'm bringing it up, is there was some debate earlier this year on when to level, when not to level, when to play aggressive, that sort of thing earlier this year, and there still is debate to this day. As far as I'm concerned, the stuff I'm going to be talking about in this video is a basic game fundamental that 99% of high-level players do. And the only reason why there's any debate about this is because a particular very popular player just couldn't admit that they were wrong. And that is why that is still continuing to this day. But yeah, anyways, that is not the purpose of this video. That is not the point of what we're talking about, but I just wanted to address it because I know that I'll get comments in the video. But let's focus on the info that I'm going to teach you guys on what I know to be true, what I think is a basic game fundamental. And so here's the baseline information that you just need to understand about leveling and pre-leveling so you can understand the rest of this video. So normal level and pre-level intervals. So pre-leveling, what is it? This is paying for XP to be within 2 XP of leveling so that when the round changes, you are now up a level. This will change your next shop odds to be the new level. This is most commonly done from level 4 to level 3 to 4 and level 4 to 5, and at these intervals. So at 1-4 you'd pay for a pre-level, which is just pressing your level up button once, paying for 4 XP, and that'll make it to where on 2-1 you are now level 4, which will change your shop odds to level 4 for that round, which is very, which can be a benefit, and we'll talk about that later. And then here's the other interval. At 2-3 you pay for an additional 4 XP if you already paid for this. If you haven't already paid at this interval, you will have to pay twice, so you'll pay for 8 XP, 4 XP or 8 XP here, and that'll make it to where on 2-5 you will be at level 5, and you'll now have those level 5 odds. So leveling, you level to increase your board strength and advance your shop odds. Pretty simple. Everybody knows what leveling does. And so you would do this at 2-1 and at 2-5. So it's just the round after. And so I'll be grouping pre-level and leveling together because they serve the same purpose in this video. But I just wanted to explain those so that everyone has that baseline knowledge. So to level or not to pre-level. Benefits of leveling. Advanced shop odds. Here are the shop odds at level 3, level 4, and level 5. So as you can see, the benefit of being level 3 is you have increased 1 cost odds. So this is very good to stay level 3 if you need something like, if you need to 2-star some pairs, that sort of thing. And you have chances for a 25% of a 2 cost. Forgot to turn my alerts off, but we're being chillin'. Okay, level 4, you now have potential to have 3 cost odds. So this is especially good if you already have like a 2-star 1 cost already, and your biggest spike for your board is now getting your 2 and 3 costs that support that 1 cost. That can be a good scenario to do that. And then level 5 here is we have now lowered our 1 cost odds, raised up our 2 and 3 cost odds, and now we have potential to like giga high roll and hit like a dragon or something. That can, it happens every now and then. You guys see it. Yeah, so there we go. There's a shop odds. So that is a benefit. You can have these increased shop odds, right? Your current round board strength. So by leveling that round, you are guaranteeing board strength for that round. You are not guaranteeing board strength for any other rounds. You are only guaranteeing it for that round, and I guess the next round if you're not going to level the next round in the early game. So that is all that you get in terms of board strength. And then potential to streak. So you are not going to be able to streak if you don't level. Win streak, that is. That's just not happening because other people are going to level. You're going to be weaker than them. It's just not happening. So yeah, that is a benefit. What are the drawbacks? And this is what we're going to focus on a lot in this video, but we're going to talk about it on a bunch of different slides. So the drawbacks are spending 4 to 8 gold on stage 2. That is a big drawback because econ in the early game, stage 2, it has just an insane snowballing effect. And that's why I have right here, potential to ruin your econ for the entire game. Spending 4 gold or 8 gold here is not the same as spending 4 gold or 8 gold on stage 3 and stage 4. The way I view it, and this isn't the exact math or anything like that, didn't do the exact math, but the way I view it, if I'm spending 4 gold or 8 gold on stage 2, it's kind of like spending 20 gold on stage 3 to make a stronger stage 3 board. And so you can see how that can snowball. So if you spend all this gold here, you are lowering your potential for having more econ on stage 3. And if you lower your ability to have econ on stage 3, and you have like a weak, let's say you level and you're weak, that's what we're going to get into later. You have a weaker, let's say you have a weak early game because you're just weak and you paid for that gold. You are now lowering your ability to make a strong board on stage 3 because you spent like, what I'm saying is 20 gold, like the equivalent of 20 gold on stage 3. So now at your normal leveling interval for stage 3 at 3-2, you will be, level 6, 30 or 20 gold rather than level 6, 40 or 50 gold. And if you had a weak early game and you are now poor on stage 3, your entire game is ruined. Because you're now going to have to spend gold to be stronger on stage 3 so that you don't die on stage 3 or bleed out like crazy on stage 3, and that will cause you to have less gold for stage 4, which lowers your potential to hit 4, hit your 4 costs, hit your legendaries, that sort of thing. That is really going to spike your board, hit those dragons. So that's why it snowballs out of control. But that is, we're going to talk a lot more about that if that was a little confusing how I explained that. And then drawbacks, advanced shot odds can be a big drawback because, as I said before, if you're big, a lot of times in the early game, your biggest spike is going to be a 2-star 1 cost. So if you just mindlessly level, and you don't actually have a strong board, then you will not be able to spike. Your biggest spike in the early game is a 2-star 1 cost usually. And usually you level once you have the 2-star 1 cost, because then after you have the 2-star 1 cost, your biggest spikes can be hitting like a 3 cost. You're playing like an Ezreal build, playing like an Ezreal Karma Jade build, one of your biggest spikes is hit a Lee Sin, right? So that could be a thing right there. But if you don't have the 2-star Karma and the 2-star Ezreal, then leveling to have potential hit a Lee Sin doesn't matter because you have no carry. So that's what we'll be talking about a lot in this video. Okay, so benefits of greeding. So to level or not to level. So if you greed, you can make stage 2 econ threshold, and this snowballs just like I was talking before. Carousel priority. And carousel priority, so the reason why I have carousel priority here is because if you're not leveling, other people in the lobby are going to be leveling. At least half the lobby are going to be leveling. Your potential to lose is a lot higher for the first 3 rounds than if you did level. So that'll cause you to have a higher chance of having carousel priority. And this snowballs like crazy in the early game. So you can either get the item that you like, but something that is very, very important in the early game is getting a high cost unit. So getting a 2 or 3 cost unit, not taking a 1 cost unit. If you get a 3 cost unit with the item that you need, that is insanity. Or an item that you can use. That can snowball like crazy. So hitting these econ thresholds and getting a 3 cost unit can just snowball your econ so much. Econ is so important on stage 3 or stage 2. Econ advantages for stage 3 and stage 4. So as I said, you make these eco thresholds on stage 2, it can snowball out of control and make it to where you can be 50 gold stage 3 by making the 10 gold thresholds on the first couple of rounds. That can cause you to be like 50 gold on 3-2 level 6. By not making these and being weak and not streaking, you can be the reverse of that, as we talked about before, be 20 or 30 gold on 3-2. And that can happen. You have the potential to loss streak. So what if you lose the first 3 rounds and you go, oh, I'm actually one of the weaker players in the lobby. So now it gives you another out that you can just kind of like open fort the rest of stage 2 to be the loss streak player. So you can just have this insane econ advantage. So you have the option to do that by not leveling. If you level, you do not have that option anymore. 1 cost odds. So as we talked about before, a lot of times your biggest spike in the early game is just going to be a 2-star 1 cost. Almost 99% of the time that's going to be your biggest spike unless you have that 2-star already. So if you don't have a 2-star 1 cost, then by hitting those 2 stars, that is going to be one of your biggest spikes, and maybe that can allow you to actually have a really strong second half of stage 2 by hitting those 2-star 1 costs. Drawbacks of greeding: you lose 10 to 30 HP on stage 2 or stage 3 if the lobby is exceptional, or well, if you're like open 14 or something like that, then you might lose 40 HP, if you're exceptionally weak. But yeah, you lose anywhere on average 10 to 30 HP if you're not playing aggressive and you have a weak early game. Yeah, you'll lose that on stage 2 and early parts of stage 3. Lack of 2 and 3 cost odds. So yeah, if you need those 2 and 3 costs, then by not leveling, you will not have those. So there's the same stuff. And we'll talk more about this 30 HP thing in a bit. Okay, so let's go through some of the most common scenarios and when I think you should level. These are not all of the early game scenarios, but these are the ones that you'll expect to see in most of your games. So best case scenario to worst case scenario. So you can clearly streak, you have a strong board, augment, item, you're really looking like the strongest person in lobby. Maybe you might lose to somebody, but like, man, you look really good. So yeah, you should level. You should try to be strong because you are strong. So you should level. You can generate that extra econ by guaranteeing, you're pretty much guaranteed to win those first 3 rounds. You get those extra 3 gold, and you're probably going to streak because you look like the strongest, and look like they have the most potential for board strength for stage 2. Gold opener and strong. You can level or make econ. This is a great scenario to be in. So you get like a 10 gold opener, but you also have 2-star 1 costs. And so in this scenario, you can do either or. So you can elect to be strong and make your 10 gold threshold because you're just able to do both now because you're just in this insane spot. Or you can greed and make some really nutty econ thresholds, like making 20 gold on 2-2 or 2-1 can be like really insane to snowball into stage 2 or stage 3. So that can be very good there. So that's why I have either or here. Gold opener and weak. So this, I don't mind having this. When I have a gold opener, I'm really weak. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm just going to lose. So you can hit some nutty econ thresholds. You can try to lose streak. You have potential to open 4 if you'd like. You can really try to leverage this as much as possible. And so, yeah, you can hit that 20 gold on 2-1 or 2-2, which can just be really insane to snowball you, to accelerate you into stage 3 and stage 4. And I have right here, should not level. But I have double asterisks right here because, it's not the worst. Like, you probably shouldn't level, but if you end up leveling and you hit you hit maybe you're trying to play around Pirate's Greed or something like that, and you hit your Nunu and stuff like that, that can be really nice. And you can still play aggressive your gold to have the potential to hit that 4 cost in level 5 because you're hitting the eco thresholds. But in general, I wouldn't recommend doing that because you can guarantee that you're going to have this insane econ advantage by not leveling. But there is merit to just taking the risk here because the upside is so high and the downside is not super bad. So you can level to try to get those advanced odds to get those high cost units that will give you some kind of comp direction, that sort of thing. But in general, you can guarantee an advantage by not leveling. So that's why I say in general probably shouldn't level, but there is some room for nuance there, of course. Average opener, this is 6 gold, 3 item components, and a 2-star, like a 2-star 1 cost. In general, probably shouldn't level. This is lobby dependent. You can look around the lobby and there's usually going to be someone stronger than you. If you just have 1 2-star unit, there's probably going to be somebody who has true 2s or something like that, or has a 2-star 2 cost randomly, or has two 2-star 1 costs, and a good board, or they have a static shiv with a gadget expert, that sort of thing. So in general, it's probably not good to level, but you could be in an exceptionally weak lobby and have potential to streak here, and you could level and try to get those shop odds. But in general, I'd say not level if you're in this spot because you can guarantee an econ advantage. The big thing of what I'm talking about here is you want to leverage the stuff that is certain and take risks when it makes sense. Like right here, you could have taken a risk because the upside is really high and the downside is not that low. Right here, it's really a scenario where the upside is high, but the downside is pretty bad. If you play aggressively and you don't win any rounds, and you have no gold and stuff like that, you can be in the same scenario as some of these worse openers here. But yeah, so in general, you should not level in this scenario, or I would not recommend leveling. But there is some potential upside if you want to. So yeah, that's why I have it in orange here. All right, weak opener. So this is 6 gold, 3 items, no 2 stars. Absolutely should not level. There's no reason to level. You have no direction in your comp. You have no 2-star units. You are not going to win rounds. You'll beat some of the weaker players, but you'll lose to the strong players. You're just going to win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Yeah, you're just going to win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. You're not going to have great carousel priority. There's just no benefit to leveling here other than that you're just trying to giga high roll a dragon or something like that, which is not a real strategy. And here is the Terabad opener. So this is when you have 6 gold, 3 items, and you have multiple pairs on your bench. You should not level here, and you should honestly consider open forwarding sometimes. So this is the worst scenario to be in. Everybody's been in this before, and your potential outs goes as follows. You don't level, and you hold the units on your bench. So you're probably not going to make econ threshold on 1-4 or 2-1. And you have the potential to spike very hard on 2-2 because you can hit your 2 stars. But if you don't hit on 2-2 and you didn't level, you have potential to hit your 2 stars, and you can make econ threshold usually. So that is something that's really nice. Now, if you level on 1-4 or 2-1, and you don't hit your 2 stars on 2-1 or 2-2, you are now in a situation where you can no longer hold those bench units, or you're just praying that you hit the next round. You have to hit the next round. You have to hit on 2-3. If you don't hit on 2-3, your econ is ruined for the rest of the game because you're now weak and have no gold. So you effectively have no advantage to play around because you're weak and have no gold, and you have to pray that you hit on 2-3. Because even if you hit on 2-5, you might not even be that strong, and you've already not hit all of these econ thresholds that are now going to gate you from being able to play stage 3. Is really how I see it. And the only other option you have in that scenario, if you level on 2-1 and you didn't hit your pairs and now you can't make econ, your only other option now, other than the pray that you hit the next round, is to just sell your units. Just sell your units and open fort from that spot. But now you're open forting from a spot where you spent 4 XP already, so you are lowering your potential to have an econ advantage. So yeah, so that's why I have here, your only options really, if you're in this spot, to me, is you either open fort by just selling all your units, be as weak as possible, making econ thresholds as much as you can. You just agree, okay, I'm going to be weak. That's fine. Who cares? I'm going to make extra econ. Or you hold the units on your bench and you don't level so that you can make econ on 2-2 and 2-3, and you do have potential to be stronger. So this is a really bad spot to be in, but that's where it is. And this is the biggest mistake that I think that is really the point of this video, is people will be anywhere from this spot to this spot to this spot, and they'll just level for no reason because they have it in their mind that they need to be strong on stage 2 for no reason, or like they think that their regional meta is just stronger on stage 2 or something like that. Guys, stage 2 boards is almost entirely RNG. I don't care what region you're in, it is almost entirely RNG. And if you go into a diamond lobby on NA, almost every single player in that lobby will be leveling, except for like one person who's trying to lose streak. Like, and people talk about NA not like playing aggressive, that sort of thing on stage 2. Like, stage 2 is, if you're gonna be weak at any time in the game, you want to be weak on stage 2. Like, if you're weak on stage 2 and you just try to be strong and just force an advantage for no reason, and you're weak and you lose stage 2, you're probably now going to lose stage 3. Or you're going to have to play like a psychopath to salvage your stage 3. And if you have to play like a psychopath to salvage your stage 3, you have lowered your cap significantly for stage 4 and stage 5. That is just what it is. So that is really what we're talking about here. And that is what this last slide is about. Stop forcing a strong board. If you're weak, then just be weak, man. Just be weak. Worst case scenario, you lose 30 HP on stage 2. Who cares if you lose 30 HP on stage 2 if you are going to save 50 HP on stage 3 and stage 4? Who cares? But if you try to save that, 20 HP and be 90 HP going, or 85 HP going into stage 3, and you have no gold, other people are going to hit dragons, other people are going to spike, other people who made those mistakes in the early game who need to play like a psycho to salvage their stage 3 are going to play like that, and you're just going to be in a spot where you either need to also play like a psycho to salvage your game, or you're just going to bleed really hard on stage 3, lose 30 to 50 HP on stage 3, and then have potential to lose on stage 4 as well. So if you're going to be weak, then just be weak, man. Just be weak on stage 2. That is the best time in the game to be weak. By forcing a win streak when it isn't possible, you have effectively taken your entire mid game out of your hands and have lost all of your advantages. See slide 4. So let's go back to slide 4. And this is the benefits of greeting. So if you try to force a win streak, you've lost all your advantage. So what are the advantages of greeting again? Making stage 2 econ threshold to snowball into stage 3. You are no longer going to be able to do that. That is no longer an option for you. You will probably not have as good carousel priority anymore, because if you're trying to force a win streak and there's other people in the lobby who are weak, they are not, and they're not trying to do that. They're playing the early game with a weak early game because that's what they were given. They are going to be weaker than you, most likely. So you are now not going to have carousel priority against those people if you happen to match it against them, which is very likely. So you will not have an econ advantage for stage 3 and stage 4 because you didn't make those eco thresholds. You didn't get carousel priority to get the 3 cost. You did not snowball that, so you will have lower econ or average econ on stage 3 and stage 4, so you will not have any advantage. You have lowered your potential to loss streak because, again, there will be other people in the lobby who are actually have a weak opener and they're just going to play it out as a weak opener. And you are now lowering your chance to spike because your best way to spike is by hitting one cost 2 stars on early parts of stage 2 in general. So you've taken that out of your hands completely. You're essentially just hoping that you giga high roll on stage 3 or that the lobby is super weak. That's just what's happening. I'll just talk about it here. I think this is the biggest mistake that I've made. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this subject, and I may be coming off as a little bit combative, is because this is one of the biggest mistakes that I make. I can tell when I'm bad at the game when I'm making this mistake. And this is the biggest mistake that I just see in so many games. Like even when I'm in master or even in master lobbies, diamond lobbies, like this is made by every player. Like almost every player will make this mistake like in a given set of games. It is so crazy. Everyone just tries to force win streaks and it blows my mind. That is why I'm just like so kind of aggressive about this topic, as well as this is the biggest thing that I change in my game that has just made me so much of a better player. It's like a simple thing that you can just not do that will make your game so much easier, is just not leveling and not trying to force a strong board when you don't have any potential to do that. I'm not saying leveling is bad. Like the scenarios where you level is when you have a strong early game, or you have you've already collected the benefits of greeting. Like you've either already hit your econ thresholds or you've already have your two stars, right? But so many players will just level and will have no reason why they do it. So here to wrap up, TFT is all about using what you got. And I think that's really what we've been talking about in this video. If you got a strong board, then use it, man. Use a strong board. If you don't have a strong board, then you should be planning a way to get one. And mindlessly leveling for a high roll is not a way to get one. I mean, that is a way to get one, but that is not a reliable way to get one. The most reliable way to get a strong board when you're presented with a weak board is by having more gold to buy a strong board. That is just what TFT is. My general rule of thumb, if I don't know what to do, at least make 10 gold thresholds before the second carousel. So at least make the 10 gold threshold one time. You know, if you can make it a couple rounds, that's awesome. But you know, either on 2-1, 2-2, or 2-3, I try to make that 10 gold threshold every single game, unless I'm playing really, really aggressive when I have that potential to streak. Make the 10 gold threshold on 2-5. By doing both of these things, I have found that I'm just almost always in that average spot, like 3-2, 40 gold, level 6. I find if I just make sure I do those things, I will probably be in around that spot. If I don't make either of those econ thresholds, I'm usually not going to be in that spot, and that feels really bad. If you're sub 30 gold, level 6, 3-2, that feels really, really, really awful. So I just do that to ensure that. And the only exceptions I make to these rules, really for myself, is if I need to play hyper aggressive to maintain a streak when I'm strong, like I need to like early level to 5. Because there's another player win streaking in the lobby, and the only way I beat him is by leveling and getting this extra unit in. But anyways, yeah, guys, in synopsis, I may have, maybe I'm coming off a little bit aggressive in this video, but in synopsis, it's just, man, so many people, I just see this every single game, in like Master ELO and below, every single game. There are so many players who make this mistake, and so many people who just like say they got Mort dogged or whatever, but like there's so many people who just play aggressive on stage 2 for no reason, and then they're sitting there stage 3, no gold, no health, and they're just like don't know why, and they blame Mort dog. So like it just blows my mind, and I think it is one of the simplest things that you can just change about your game and to really be mindful about stage 2 that will make it to where your mid game is so much better. And that's why so many people talk about like, yeah, their mid game is weak. They don't know how to play mid game. And that's what I always tell people too, is like, yeah, your mid game is weak. But the mid game isn't weak because you don't know how to play mid game. It's because you don't know how to play stage 2. And that's just really what it is. But anyways, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you did, like the video and comment below with any questions. I'd be happy to clarify anything or just chat if it warrants a response from me. So you can put comments below. If you guys like more of me, I stream at twitch.tv/tradingtft. I stream on weekdays there, and I post pretty much every day at twitter.com/tradingtft, so you can catch me there as well. But that's pretty much it, guys. I just hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic night, and wherever you are, I just hope you're doing well. See ya. Bye.